Hello, this is Kicking It While Thrifting It. My name is Annie. For those of you who are new to this channel, welcome. For those of you who are returning to this channel, thank you for your continued support. For today's video, I thought I would review with you my May 2021 sales. My sales suffered, but I am not the only one who saw lower sales this past month, so I'm not alone. Still, the size of the store and the items that you select, apart from other things such as listing on a daily basis, etc., affect your sales. I purposely selected this month because it was not a stellar month. Because I want to show that it is not all a bed of roses 24/7, right? And there are people who list many items. They have as much as thousands and thousands of items in their store and they make six figures. That's not true for everyone. Some people like me have a full-time job. They do this part-time. They may have limited space or limited access to thrifting items, purchasing items, depending on their geographical location. So again, every seller's case is different, but I find that particularly those with a smaller store are experiencing what is apparently called the summer slowdown. And as I mentioned before, I have a small store. I'm working through selling my personal belongings, which is why I said I don't mind being long tail at this point, because eventually most of the items will sell. But ideally, you do want to turn the items around and hopefully within 30 days. For right now, let's see what sold in May. So my May sales consist of a few personal items and a few retail arbitrage items. The first item that sold is a personal item that I had packed away for a decade and a half. It is a Ryder truck of the grand opening May 27, 2005 keychain, $16.97, including shipping. Now, when I say including shipping, I don't offer free shipping or discounted shipping, so the buyer pays shipping. I'm just giving you the total amount of the sale. And on a personal note, with this particular item, I actually overcharged the buyer for shipping and error. Originally, when I had weighed the item, I had weighed it in a box. This was quite a while ago. As I've grown and learned and through trial and error, I found a more cheaper way of shipping it and shipping it in a way still that would get to the buyer undamaged. And I felt like I owed the buyer the difference. So what I did was I sent the buyer the shipping difference in the mail. Now, this doesn't happen often, but at the end of the day, when it does happen, I want to do the right thing and make it up to the buyer so that the buyer is happy. So note to you all who are considering venturing into reselling on eBay that it's important to weigh your items in the package that you're going to send it to, including whatever shipping materials are necessary from the get-go when you list the item for accuracy. The second item that sold is also a personal item. It is a woman's woven braided leather belt. It's a wide adjustable belt in the color brown and size small. This item sold for $14.36, including shipping. One of my personal belts that I had when wide belts were in style, I packed it and put it away, and it sold, and I'm happy that it went off to a new home, and I hope that that person enjoys wearing it as much as I did. The third item is a retail arbitrage item, and retail arbitrage, for those of you who don't know, basically refers to when you buy products at your local retail stores and then you sell those same products through online marketplaces for profit. So in this case, this is a Flexis by Maidenform, high waist, thigh slimmer, firm control in the color black and a size extra extra large, and it's new in package. That sold for $14.85, including shipping. I purchased that item specifically because I got it at a very good reduced price. It's new in package. As a side note, for all my retail arbitrage items in general, I paid under $5 for it. In some cases, maybe even free. I don't mind paying up for items if I think I can turn around and double my profit. But for right now, since I'm learning, I'm trying to stick to buying items that are low in cost. And yeah, I'm not going to turn a huge profit by doing that, but I'm also not going to lose money either. These items, again, they're small, so they're rather easy to store. And quite frankly, it's an experiment. I sell a little bit of everything. So I find that right now I'm doing well with selling undergarments. You know, when I get a good deal on these, I don't pass them up because I tend to sell through them pretty quickly. And I have a few more of these in my store in case anyone is interested. I know, shameless plug, but gotta do it. The next item that's sold is another retail arbitrage, number 2 of 3 on this list today. It is a woman's Hanes microfiber cheeky tagless panties in a size large. That sold for $20.90 with shipping. Once again, easy to store, easy to ship, lightweight, non-breakable. I basically put this in a clear poly mailer to protect it from the elements and then put it in its regular poly mailer and it is ready to go. The next item is a personal item of mine. It's sold. It's a Hello Kitty purse, handbag, satchel, pink, PVC, Sanrio vintage. One of those items that belonged to my children when they were younger. Hello Kitty has been around for decades and it's still quite popular today. It finally sold for $27.17 with shipping. The item had a small blemish, which I disclosed. And this is another thing too. I take my time and I take pictures of items from all angles, and in this case purses, the handles, the inside, zipper, if it's got any kind of detailing. In this case it has the Hello Kitty, in some other cases it's a charm, etc. And I do that because when the buyer looks at my item, I want them to be able to know what they're getting. And in this case, the item had a small blemish that I could not remove. It wasn't at all affecting the look of the purse per se, but I wanted the buyer to be aware. So I zoomed in on that, which actually made it look worse than what it is. But I just want the buyer to be clear. I don't want it to be where someone's dissatisfied when they receive something and feel the need to return it, because I honestly, and I probably speak for most when I say this, I don't want to deal with a return. It's a hassle. There are those who have many items to list. They have pressure to list a certain amount every day. They're trying to crank them out, and they may only post one picture, and they may go back and add other pictures, or they may not. And again, for them, that's fine. It works for them, wonderful. But for me, I don't want to just post one picture, because the person isn't going to get a good idea, or may not feel comfortable buying something with just one picture when you don't get to see what the other sides look like, or in this case the inside of the bag, etc. So for me, I rather just take my time from the get-go, maybe list fewer items, but not have to deal with the returns. And that wasn't a criticism of those who want to do that. Everyone runs their store the way they want to. I'm just pointing out that for me, because I have a smaller store, I can take the time to take multiple photographs, etc. And for me, I want the customer to always feel comfortable with what they're buying from my store, that they are getting what they are seeing in the picture, and also to ask me questions if they need to. I put that on every single listing. Ask questions. A lot of people don't read the description. They just look at the pictures or the item, the price, they buy it, and then they're like, oh, you know, they have like a buyer's remorse. But for those who do, you know, they'll see that I say, if you have any questions about the item, ask questions, because I feel like that lessens a return. Okay, so my next item, actually it's the last item on the list, Centrum Silver Men 50 Plus Multivitamin Bundle of 100 plus tablets with the expiration of 2022, new, sealed, and packaged. This item sold for $22.30, including shipping. And this is my 3 of 3 retail arbitrage on this list today. One thing to note here is items with expiration dates. So I keep track of items with expiration dates on my spreadsheet, and I occasionally revisit it, because as these dates approach, and if the item has not sold, you either have to, or I feel you either would have to drastically reduce it to encourage a quick sale, or take down the listing, because I don't want to sell anything past its expiration date. I personally don't think in this case it would be horrible to take these pills 30 days after the expiration date, etc. Probably won't do anything. In the matter of safety and just following guidelines, that's what I do. I monitor it, and if it doesn't sell by the expiration date, it's a reduction and or taking down the listing. Now in my case, when I do buy items or come across good retail arbitrage items that have an expiration date, I try to find ones that have the furthest date out, let's say 2 years. Most of the times that product will sell by then, so I don't have to worry about it being expired. Now we're going to get to the stellar sales that I had this month. Gross sales are your total sales, and then your net sales would be your gross sales minus returns and expenses and shipping, etc. So as you can see here, the total sales for May 2021 were $116.55. Taxes and government fees were $5.65. There were shipping charges, which again, as I've said before, the buyer pays, I don't pay them. My sales were not very stellar. I try to shoot for 200 a month. Clearly this was a lot less than that. But, you know, these things happen, and it's particularly why I chose to highlight this month, because I just want those who are thinking of reselling and or those who have smaller stores or are struggling, you know, you're not alone. We're newbies, we're learning, there's growing pains, and it can be done. It's possible. I don't post these sales to discourage anyone. I'm just posting it because it's the reality. Every month is not going to be $1,000 month. Maybe for some that's the case, but even for those who make six figures, they experience slowdowns. They may even have a day where they didn't even sell a single item. It happens. So just sort of wanted to use this not as a negative, but just to point out the realities of what can happen if you have a store, and that there are going to be months that are slower, but you know, you account for that, re-strategize, you move forward. And quite frankly, even with these videos, I really do find it interesting when I watch one or two other resellers videos, what they find, what they sold. I find all that very fascinating. I personally enjoy it, and I'm hoping that you all enjoy it as well. So that's pretty much it for this video. If you happen to like this content and would like to see more of my journey, please hit the like, subscribe button, and notification bell, as I understand this will notify you each time I upload a video. And from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate you all for tuning in and supporting this channel and joining me on my journey. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.